Let's move on to Mark chapter 12, 41 through 44. Mark chapter 12, 41 through 44. And I should have oh man. See, this is time. Guys, I'm just frustrated, okay? That is a really good slide up there. You're just not seeing it, okay? It is a really cool slide. I took a long time to find you a really good slide, but you're not even seeing it. But it's dollar bills and signs and stuff like that. It's a little bit better, but now you can't see me. But that might be better. And so I know I put it out to plea a couple of weeks ago for a new projector. And this is it. This is a medium that we work in, visual. It's huge. People today are visual. This is very, very subpar. It does the job, but it doesn't do it very well. And so, again, I put out the plea that we all together work together and pitch in and get a new one, a new projector. So, anyhow, I love this. Jim Yerson is the one who inspired me with this sermon title, Sermon on the Mount. It's kind of a play off of the Sermon on the Mount. Get it? Okay, Sermon on the Mount. I guess I didn't need to explain that, but I felt like I should. Bible question time here. Bible question time where you are free to answer. It's not just Tom's rhetoric. What single topic did Jesus talk about more than any other single topics all combined? Golly, you guys are really on it today. Good caffeine in the coffee. All right. Excellent. You're absolutely correct. He talked about money, the idea of money, materialism, physical things, physical wealth, more than any of the other topics he talked about. People say, hey, talk about love. Talk about prayer more. Talk about, all these other things. No, money more than any other single topic combined. And then say, why? Well, that's what preachers do. They talk about money all the time. Oh, always talk about money. No, we don't. See, Jesus knew that money and materialism had the single greatest attraction to become an idol more than anything else, to get between us and God. And so he dealt with it in many ways. And so this in the Gospel of Mark is one of those times. It's a very short passage, but it's a very powerful passage in regards to the heart and soul and the core being of what it means to be a disciple of Jesus Christ. And you think about all the different attributes of what it means to be a disciple of Jesus Christ. And I can guarantee you that the thread that goes through every single one of them has to do with the concept of giving. For God so loved the world that he did what? He gave his one and only Son. At the heart and core of being a disciple of Jesus Christ is the idea of giving. And the one that people are more sensitive about than any other, money. Giving money. All right? And it's a heart issue is what it is. So let's go to Mark 12 and begin verse 41. Here Jesus is near the temple, and he sat down opposite the place where the offerings were being put. And look at this. He watched the crowd putting their money into the temple treasury. Many rich people threw in large amounts, but a poor widow came and put in 2 very small copper coins worth only a fraction of a penny. Calling his disciples to him, Jesus said, I tell you the truth, this poor widow has put more into the treasury than all the others. They all gave out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in everything. All she had to live on, she put it in there. So I just want to cover just a little bit about this. I want to bring it home to you and me here at New Song, and then finish up, okay, for today. First of all, this widow's giving was an act of worship. She didn't give to the temple for, because they had set up some kind of budget. She came and she gave, and it was her act of worship. Not out of a budget, not out of some guilt, not because the preachers were manipulating her or putting pressure on her. It was pure, unadulterated worship to God. Think about widows in Jesus' time. He didn't by accident or just thought he'd pick a widow. A widow in Jesus' time was totally, completely powerless and desolate. She had nothing. If it wasn't for the grace of her family and other fellow people, she would starve to death. She had nothing, but she had these 2 coins. But she was totally, totally dependent on others. She had these 2 little coins. These 2 little coins are called lepta, or mites, some translation call. You put them both together, it still doesn't even make 1 penny. See, this was her response to the God that she knew about. This was her gift to her God, based upon her faith in God. Her God had been so good to her throughout the time of her life, and her response was, God, I need you. There is no one else who can help me more than you. And here's my sacrifice to you. Church today, and I've been preaching this mantra for a while, and we'll probably hear it more and more as it continues to get more prevalent. But have you noticed how church becomes more and more like consumerism? You know, you're going and you're getting a product. So churches have been kind of relegated to be the supplier of religious goods and services. And it's amazing in my short time, because I'm so young, all the changes that have been made in the goods and services that churches supply. I'm putting that in quotation marks, right? And so today we've become the entertainment industry, and we entertain children all the way up to adults with the various kind of entertainment you like. We find the entertainment you like, and then we try to make it fit you, and that way we grow churches. Because we really are good at entertaining. We get the best, most entertaining speaker, the best youth guy that's most fun with the kids and is really hip, and we do really hip things with the kids, and it is relegated to this idea, supplier of religious goods and services. When that becomes the case, when the church becomes this consumer-driven organization, then what does that thing become that we put into the joy box? It ceases to become worship and an offering, and it becomes a payment for services rendered. That is not what God's about. That is not what this whole idea of giving is about. That's a perversion. It's worship. What we put in that joy box, or what we don't, there is a direct correlation between that and our relationship with God. No doubt about it. No matter who argues about it, no doubt about it. I heard this quote from a pastor this last week. He says this: no church ever has a money problem, only a faithfulness problem. And that's the truth. There's a direct correlation between the gift that we give to God every week. And by the way, do you hear? I'm not saying that by mistake or it makes good preaching. The gift is to God. You don't give it to New Song for supplies and services rendered. Okay? It's to God. And you say, well, I've heard all kinds of things. I don't like what direction they go. I don't like the programs they do. I don't like this. It doesn't matter. It's your gift to God. Not to New Song, leadership, team, anybody, no matter what they do. You need to pray for them that they will be good stewards and they'll do the best we can and make the most with the gift that's given. But it's God's. It's given to God. And so this woman knew this. And Jesus is making this point in the text, is he not? As he goes to the temple and he sees her come, and she gives the sacrificial gift to God, being totally 100%, totally dependent on him. So that leads me to the next point, that this widow gave sacrificially. She gave sacrificially. This is the key word in all New Testament giving: sacrifice. This is my sacrifice to the Lord. We always like to look at percentages, don't we? Especially those good Pharisees and scribes and legalists that you know, some people are. You know, they want, what's the percentage? This gal gave 100%. You know, as a matter of fact, I love getting in discussions with people who say, hey, that 10% thing, man, that's not part of the New Testament. You're right. If you want to go by biblical example, we've got this gal giving 100%. We've got Zacchaeus giving 50%. I don't see any less. If you just want to go by biblical examples of percentages, 100% or 50%, that's it. That's it. But really, the key concept in New Testament giving is you give it all.